Hi, Trevor here, reflecting on life through music. Welcome and thank you for stopping by. Well, I trust you enjoyed my last commentary from Australian rockers The Angels with their peltingly hard rock song Take a Long Line. And in that particular video, we looked at those that walk the harder ways of life and how resilient and resourceful they are, and also how we should try and limit our first impression reflex to give people a bit of a chance. So I trust you enjoyed that commentary. So we go from them, and I'm coming back to the band Asia today. Now, I looked at Asia with the first video I ever did in this series, and I must admit, I look back at that one and I think, oh, okay, that wasn't so good, but we learn as we go. And it's in my playlist, so if you want to go back and see how it all started, by all means go and have a look, because the song An Extraordinary Life is an amazing song. So as I talked about in that initial video, I looked at this band Asia. Now, Asia was formed in 1981, and it started with John Wetton, who was in a band called King Crimson. Now, they're not a band I don't know too much about King Crimson, but the other guys in particular, I know a bit more about them, because joining him was Steve Howe on guitar. Now, Steve Howe is from the legendary band of Yes, and you have to be an exceptionally good musician to be in that band, because some of their pieces go on for like 10 minutes, and there's just so much creativity and brilliance in the songs that they put out. You think of songs like Owner of a Lonely Heart, for instance. That's one of their probably most well-known songs. And there's another song called Roundabout, which goes back a little bit further. So we had Steve Howe join John. We then had Geoff Downes. Now, Geoff Downes was one of the Buggles. And now they had that song, I Had It on the Waters back in 52. You know that song, Video Killed the Radio Star. Such an iconic song, that one. He and Trevor formed the Buggles. And that song came out in the late 1970s, and it was one of the first video clips to ever be played on MTV. Now, Geoff Downes is famous for his massive keyboard rigs on stage. He would have, I know in the initial stage it was 20 to 30 keyboards on stage. He's kind of softened that back to about 12 or 13 or 14 now. But he's a master of the keyboard space, and the incredible amount of keyboards that he has on stage is really just a compelling part of Asia's live performing. And then we have finally Carl Palmer in drums. Now, Carl Palmer was from Emerson, Lake and Palmer. So we think of Keith Emerson and Greg Lake. Both of those are no longer with us, and my condolences to both the Lake and Emerson families. But Carl Palmer was the drummer, and one of the famous songs of theirs is Fanfare for Common Man. That's such an iconic instrumental piece that he was part of. And so the four of them, John, Steve, Geoff and Carl, formed this band Asia, and they were hailed at the time as a supergroup, because to be in Asia, you've got to be an exceptionally gifted musician to be part of this group, because they do songs which are so complicated. They fill their songs with just accents, where they're all doing stuff together or doing really quirky instrumental pieces. Their songs kind of transcend songs, and they become works almost. So well produced, so incredibly written, and so well crafted songs. I do like Asia. There's something about them that has really captured my imagination. Now, so from 1981 when they formed through to 2014, they released 13 albums. And now their albums are famous for their incredible artwork, space age kind of artwork. And so the album covers on their own are quite phenomenal. Now, there was a couple of other people who did some reasonably big chunks of time. One of them is Jeff Payne, who took over from John Wetton between 91 and 2006. So a fair bit of Asia's career, and I suppose he forged his own sound with this band as well. And Sam Colson's another guy who was on lead guitar, who's also featured quite strongly in the Asia lineup over the years. And so their opening album, which was called Asia, was a breakthrough album for them. It became quite a big seller and really cemented Asia into the music industry at that time. Of course, the four of them had already cemented themselves in the music industry at that time, and so Asia just continued their individual journeys while they forged a new journey with this band called Asia. So in the first album we had Heat at the Moment, that's probably one of their signature tunes, and so that's the song they became well known for. And also Only Time Will Tell is another iconic song from that album. And so Asia, are very much a favourite band of mine. I think I just really appreciate the musicianship and the incredible production of their songs. And these guys do perform extensively, which means that they're not just confined to the studio. They can actually do this stuff live, which is a feat of its own. So incredible band. The song I really wanted to focus on today, I suppose, though, is came with the 2014 release, which was the last release that they did, which was the album Gravitas, and the song from that album, Valkyrie. Now, Valkyrie is one of the Norse gods, and I suppose, in a sense, takes on a bit of an ethereal type of quality, which makes this song such a compelling one. What makes this song even more compelling, and here in this official clip we see John Wetton pretty well singing it here. He's got the iconic, beach reflective poses and just looking back on his life. The thing that makes this song so almost haunting is the fact that John died in 2017. Some 3 years after this album was released. And you almost start to wonder whether he knew that his time was short. He knew that his days were coming to an end, because it is very much a reflective piece. And you just get a sense of that when you look at this clip in particular, just when you see his beach shots that he's there. You see Sam Colson, who's on guitar in this particular song, and Geoff Downes and Carl Palmer in this clip as well. But there's just something haunting about this song, given that John Wetton died 3 years after the song was released. And I suppose when we are faced with death, and we are faced particularly as the one who is watching a loved one die in front of them, we often get swept up in that moment of sadness and the fact that life is coming to an end for someone. But I think often in these times too, here's an opportunity for us to engage this person in conversation. Engage them in what made them who they were, what they saw as important, and what legacy you think this person has left this world. We often hear about legacy in funerals and memorials in particular, but there's something quite beautiful about when someone is facing their own mortality, what becomes important to them and what becomes precious to them. I'm sure they soon forget about the material stuff. They think more about the people they've loved along the way, the people that are still in their lives now, and what pearls of wisdom that they can leave. I think for family members who are facing the death of a loved one, there is certainly an opportunity to engage in conversation like this, to work out what made this person tick and what they thought was important. And I think particularly for John Wetton, and my condolences well and truly to the Wetton family, because this was a big loss to the world. He had an incredible singing voice. He was really good on bass. I mean, in Asia, his bass playing was probably not as prominent as like the drums and keyboard and guitar, but he added the depth to the band. He certainly did write a lot of the songs. And I think what he was reflecting on back as he was looking back at his life was that, yeah, maybe he did make a bit of a difference in this world. He did fulfill a bit of a dream, and his legacy will live on through this band Asia and these songs, which I think will become timeless, I'm thinking, because there's just something quite amazing about the way they are. So I think there's an opportunity if you're facing, this situation right now where, you might be going to visit someone who might be on their deathbed or visiting someone who's not very well, and you kind of know that time is coming to an end. Work out what made them tick, engage them in conversation, and learn the pearls of wisdom that often people have when the time is coming to an end. And then you can carry on their legacy in some way that's going to be meaningful for you. As I shared a little while back in the song Time from the Alan Parsons Project, and I liken the fact that time is like a river that will go out to a sunset. And I suppose sunset is a little bit like the end for us. But the great thing about rivers is that even though that they do go out to the sea, they are still going through the valley, as I talked about at the time. And so we have the legacy of the person to stay with us. So what a privilege it is to know somebody and to know them intimately and to know what made them tick. This is the opportunity that we've got, I believe, to gain that wisdom from them as their days might be coming to an end. Give them an opportunity to impart their wisdom to you. So I trust that will be an encouragement to you today. And if you're in that situation right now, it's a tough time. It must feel like a roller coaster at times. But just know that these days are precious as well. So I hope that will be an encouragement for you today. I know for me, I was there when my dad died, and it was great to just be in that moment with him. Unfortunately, I didn't make it for my mum. She died in the 15 minutes between me realising I needed to go and me coming to the hospital. I wasn't actually there with my mum when she died, but the hospital staff told me that she was surrounded by them, which was wonderful. I was there when my father-in-law died, and the legacy that he left, the town that he came from, it was amazing, and to experience the life that he lived was an incredible thing indeed. I certainly will always remember him as a man of integrity and a man of wisdom. So yes, we all will come across this at some point. And I suppose the thing to realise is that it's an incredible privilege to be in those final breath moments. It really, really is. So think back of those moments. It can be a very sad time, but also think back of those moments as an incredible time of privilege as well. So I trust that will be an encouragement for you today as you consider your own Valkyrie moments, as John was considering when he wrote this song. It's almost the hope that as he leaves this world to whatever that will be. And it's interesting, we are faced with this thing of what happens after. Well, I suppose there is a common view, I think, from the people I've spoken to, that the essence of who we are will continue on in some form. It's just how that will happen differs from person to person. So I suppose the encouragement for you is just to consider for yourself what that might be, and to know that maybe this isn't it. Who knows? I suppose when I get there for myself, I'll find out. I suppose for me, I do have a kind of a hope, but I'm not going to push that on you. If you want to ask me in the comments, feel free. But I'm not going to push that on you. That's for me, and for you, it's your own thing. So on to the clips today. We do have Valkyrie, which is the official clip. And I thought that given I may not come back to Asia unless there's a request, I thought I would just put another couple of clips on that just shows how good these guys are. We have the song My Own Time, which came off the Alpha album, which is one of their earlier releases. Here you see the original 4 members, Carl on drums, Steve on guitar, and yes, he is looking old, but boy, can this guy still play incredibly well. We've got John on bass, may he rest in peace, and we've got Geoff on keyboards, and you just see how many keyboards he's actually got. I don't know how he keeps up with it, but he does. So My Own Time just really shows off how good these guys actually are, and how incredible is this lead guitar solo that goes on for so long at the end. You see how an incredible guitarist Steve is, and how incredible band Asia is to be able to just keep it going and keep it interesting like they do. John was making a real statement here, I believe, with this song, and saying that, like, I'm going to decide for myself what my life will be. And he has left his legacy through the band Asia. And then I've also gone for one of Asia's signature tunes, and that is one of their signature tunes, Only Time Will Tell. And that's got the iconic keyboard start that Geoff does. And it's good to see in this particular version there's an orchestra backing them, just to give a bit more added depth to this song, as opposed to take a little bit of the orchestral work from Geoff, who normally would provide that on keyboards. And so a wonderful performance of Only Time Will Tell. And in this particular clip you see Sam Colson on guitar. So all those 3 clips, the descriptions and the links to those particular songs are in the description below. And so I'll leave that one with you. Just really immerse yourself in what is the genius of Asia in their live performance. Absolutely incredible. And I've also included a link to my last video, which was on the band The Angels. So if you want to have a look at that one and want to recap, feel free to look at that one as well. And please note the invitation down there that if you want me to look at a song, please put it in the comments, and I'll be more than happy to do that one for you. So that's it for today. If you do like this video, please give it the thumbs up, and I'd love you to subscribe. I put up videos about 2 to 3 times a week, so you know I don't overwhelm you with videos. So I reflect on life through music, and my aim is that these videos will be an encouragement to those who watch. Well, that's it for today. Next time we're going to go on to Augie March with a couple of their songs. So until then, I'll catch you around.